Hello, today we'll be making a game from scratch. Let, let us call it Earth Game. And as you will see soon enough, I have prepared a few assets. Let's begin by checking Earth Game. Now, here's a folder and here is our game. As you can see, I have collected a few sprites to use. What are these sprites? Well, they are basically our avatar. So first, let's pick our sprites and call it SPR bird because that is the name of basis of our game. Basically, a Flappy Bird clone. Let's choose the Mustang here. Yes. And before we do anything, let's edit the sprite. Right click. Is it? Yes. Edit sprite. And hmm. I actually, forgive me. I actually don't quite remember on how to center this over here. It's now centered. Now, what's a game without enemies? Let's add two. Let's see. I'm just gonna call this SBR pipe top. Load up a sprite and choose this Messerschmitt. Now, unlike the bird, we're going to put the hitbox here. Repeat that. Repeat that process because we will need that. We'll need that. Now use a Junkers. I know this used to be a bomber, but it's the few sprites that I can use. Now, let's make an incentive for player. Why don't we? Here is a message. I called it a coin because it will become our coin. Oh dear, rather large, so let's resize it. Use scale. And this should be enough, I believe. If not, it's not it's not difficult to change it. 45. Let's go for a 90. Why don't we? Hmm. No. Oh dear, I think I've bugged it. Let us repeat that process. Why don't we? Oops, what's this? Let's call her a coin. Edit. Scale again. As you can see, it's been saved, but cropping is not as forgiving. I guess that's the best it can do. Okay, center. Maybe crop it to 150, but if that doesn't work, oops, maybe 120. No. And for that, we are done with the sprites. Dear viewer, I apologize because I did not realize, but this was this is what you gotta do. Insert right click on the sprites folder and insert sprites. But let's try something new. Let us insert a background. Background 0. Go to our folder, Earth Game, and then what did I call it? Background. Yes, this will make sense later. And I forgot to add that BG grass. This is my grass. It's rather large, I suppose. As you can see here, I've written a few scripts, and this is mostly a reminder given to me by my professor, so to say. Sorry once again for being sentimental. I just checked my notes. Let's rename this little bugger SPR point, as that will be important later. Let us create our first backgrounds, objects. I mean, first SPR bird, and then over here at the sprites, let's choose SPR bird. Click OK, and congratulations, we have made our first object. Let's do the same. Oh, oops. No, SPR means sprite. No, we want OBJ. It means object, of course. And let's do the same for the others. The Messerschmitt and the Junkers. Now, let- if you excuse me, let me just check my notes. We shall be adding also BG grass. For my, for me, it shall be London, the city of London. Points. Let's rename this again because I am rather disoriented. And this one, give her this. Next, we'll be making something called OBH control. That's for later. And OBJ and OBJ ni. This is for the points later. Let's create our room. Room 0. Let's rename it from the settings. RM main for lack of confusion. And let's pick background as our background. I'll stop here for the second just to make the editing process a little easier. So unfortunately, I did not realize that oh dear, I did not realize that there was no recording. So let's do this. Over here is where I get all my codes from my teacher, Sir Mark Anthony. So first, click add event here and click create. I have already done so. I have recorded this. So just read this. This makes gravity. I don't quite remember. I had the whole segment filmed and destroyed. So add event alarm, press alarm 0 and over in OBJ bird here. This will make it I don't quite remember. Step. This this here will make as if will make the avatar sprite go up or down if need be. This line of code here kills the player if they go up too high above. Now, this is important. Collision. OBJA pipe top. Click here. OBJA pipe top. This will make it so that if they do hit, something happens. What is that something? Kill the birds. Um, where's that? It kills the birds. But, oh, again, collision. Points. Over here. Code. Oh dear, did I forget how to use the code? So, go to control over here and right click codes. This is what you have to do. Basically, it says that instances of points will be destroyed and add to the points. Now, go to mouse, global mouse, and global left button. You can make it right button, but that's not how we do it here. It's Flappy Bird. As you can see here, when press, if press, Flappy Bird goes up. Yes. Moving on, OBJ pipe bottom. Create. Going to create. Press create here, and then control. Right click on code. Age speed equals -6. This makes it look like the world is moving. Step. Step. Let me think. Step makes it so that if our bird touches her, bird will die, and the world will stop moving. Though in this case, it wouldn't stop. It wouldn't make sense if the planes stop. If the planes don't stop moving. Give me a second, please. Now I understand that planes not moving doesn't make sense, but here's the important part in my scripting. As you can see here, obj bottom needs to be a parent, and that will make basically give the properties of obj pipe top to obj pipe bottom. Now for obj grass, add event, click create, right click on control, left click on control, right click on execute code, age speed equals -6 to make it look like it's moving. Now, sorry. Now, step, click on step, sorry, control, and right click on code. This will make it seem that after a certain point, the player will see the Tower of London moving. Sorry. Now for OBJ points. OBJ points. Click create, and then left click control, right click on code, h speed equals -6, make it so that it's moving. Then for step, if bird equals dead, it will stop moving. That's now this this was what happens brains of the operation. OBJ control. OBJ control basically deals with everything. So left click create on add event, create, and go make a code. This basically handles all of our codes for points at least. Then an alarm 0, right click, left click control, right click on code. This handles the pipes, or in our case, the German planes. This adjust this accordingly. The spread of everything to your liking. Also, this creates instances of our coins, which will be floating soon. Left click, draw, and this will create. Okay, so originally I wanted to say in the script that um, the pipes, the points here, I would have made a big deal about had I have Game Maker Advance. Unfortunately, I only have the free version, therefore I cannot use the images. Please forgive me, viewer. Please forgive me. I would have taught you otherwise. Let's go to our room main. So originally I had created a separate room. So create room, then in the settings type in rm big I in ni rm ini. This handles a lot of coding, specifically here obj ini. Now what's obj ini? Well, that's where global comes from, high score. So in my notes, obj ini. Add event, create, control, and right click on the code, and here, global dot and the name of the name of a value or integer will make it so that it can be accessed by any room. And this line of code basically says go to the next room after reading this. Make sure that rl ini is above rl main here. Excuse me as I try to remember. Alright, now that I have the let's delete this. So now that we've basically done with scripting, let's put our objects. So go to this room, rl main, right? And then press look for grass, obj grass. For me, it's London. Uh, all right. Then our birds there, and most importantly, obj control. Press the play button, and it doesn't look that great. Trial and error, folks. That's the most important thing in life. Trial and error. If oh yes, before you do that, go in rm ini and press obj ini, and then left click. That's it. As for configuration, go to obj control, alarm, and the code. Here, adjust as needed. Now let's try. So, in my original video, I'd say that a lot of people are afraid of scripting. And believe me, it is a daunting task. And I am a computer science student. But in my opinion, if you ask me, you just really need an attitude that says, I can do this, I can learn, and I'm willing to learn. As well as said meaning, willingness to learn. Because at the end of the day, a human is motivated by something that they love to do or wish to do. Now it's rather difficult right now. So keep on editing. I also did say that in my original video, it is a good idea. It is a good idea to use a background that's appealing to the eye, such as Flappy Bird over here. As you can see, the grass looks like it will be flowing. It's flowing correctly, as you will see. It looks like it's properly flowing, but in reality, it's just one PNG. Anyone that notices breaking the loop is not concentrating and will die. But back to our game that we made. Trial and error, folks. That is important. Well, it's still broken for me. But that's because Oh wait. Ah, dear. Ha ha ha. I just remembered something. I had the Junker. Well, this is a pipe bottom, but it should be at the top because, you know, it's OPJ pipe bottom. So its hitbox should be at the top. It only makes sense, at least for me. So basically, this ends my video, and I hope you learned something, even if it might be a mess. I'm sorry, high score doesn't work. I don't know how to fix it, but I hope, I do hope you learned a thing or two, reader, viewer. And I hope to Sir Mark Antony that he's decently proud of us. Not just in a sense that a teacher should be proud of their students, but in a actual pride in us all. And I hope you all stay safe and God bless. All of you are rather wonderful people.